delay actually getting in here is we knew you had some legal questions, and so we reached out for him to say, hey, Israel says he's got some questions. Are you guys available to speak to him? And I couldn't even get one. One of them was in court. The other one was
This guy is fucked with me in my head for a while.
Okay.
All right.
I'm so excited.
Let's start off with something light and frothy.
Okay, guys. So, BJ's.
BJ's.
And ants.
Not blowjobs.
Not blowjobs, just to clear that
A
up,
big
guys.
box store.
Yeah.
So, as many of you know, well, hopefully many of you know,
Hopefully you guys are listening and paying attention to our
we've
lives.
been living in Baltimore now for about a month.
Yeah.
Steve and Meg have been living in Baltimore for a little bit longer because
All our
they followed us
lives.
here.
We're
And
Baltimoreans now.
the
I
closest,
am not.
Yeah, well, the
Baltimore.
Baltimore. We also
Baltimore.
That's another thing. So the closest Sam's Club, which we've all been shopping at, is in Annapolis.
Yes.
So
40 minutes away.
40 minutes away. So we were driving around the city last weekend and we saw BJ's. And I got to tell you, I fucking love BJ's.
So do I. It's
much
way
better.
Me too. I also
It's an
love the store.
upgrade.
The store is fantastic.
Wow.
Great. Funny story about a BJ's. So that's where my family used to shop in Georgia all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding you. It was a BJ's in a kind of like an outlet strip mall type thing. It was a Dick's Sporting Goods, a BJ's,
Dick's, BJ's, and
Target,
oh,
and a Hooters, all in the same area. And I know the city planner had to have known what the fuck they were doing.
all of the stores next to each other.
Yeah, this has been 18 years now. How old am I? 29? Yeah, 18 years now.
Back
I
home,
I still remember.
back in Washington, there is a Dick's Sporting Goods right next to a Party City. And so they decided to put the signs so that it says Dick's Party City.
Love that.
Party at Dick's.
Love
you know what I mean?
that. Yeah.
Well, in Greensboro, North Carolina, there's an IHOP on a street called Acock.
Ah,
I hop a cock.
IHOP on Acock.
my favorite is,
That's not a joke.
have you ever heard of the gas station Come and Go?
Yeah.
Obviously.
With a
Yes,
K.
with a
Have some in
KUM. Come
Yes.
and Go. Like, get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
I still have to say,
It's a
though,
thing.
Costco is my favorite. I feel like BJ's is a step up from Sam's Club,
for
and
sure.
it goes more towards Costco, but I am a Costco girl at heart.
I think
The
they're interchangeable.
produce at BJ's was not as good as
The meats.
Sam's Club. The meats are much better.
The meats are much better. The produce is subpar compared to Sam's, but doable.
Going for you.
Man, we are all about that wholesale price today, aren't we?
Yeah, that's definitely.
Welcome to the podcast where we talk about how we're between 29 and 33 going on 84.
We
Steve,
like
could
our
you please tell us
sales.
what time you go to bed? Yeah.
It depends on the day.
And you're the
Some
youngest
days
one
I get
here.
crazy and go to bed at like 8:30.
You are literally the youngest one at this table.
And
I know.
he goes to bed the
And
earliest.
you know why I look like I have such a baby face? Because I get my sleep. It's the key.
Some nights he wants to go to bed before our daughter.
Most nights. Our daughter, until recently, didn't want to go to bed till 9:30.
I can
Yeah.
tell you, I always want to go to bed early, but I never do. Once I'm settled into bed, I'm watching like Mophie.
See, that's
Till
that.
midnight.
I love not having a TV in my room. Some days I wish I did, but I like the iPad thing because we can like snuggle up, hold the iPad, and then when my arm gets tired, I'll be like, I can't watch.
And then
anymore.
I continue to watch the iPad for like 3 more hours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm all about the TV.
Yeah. But, that's actually a really good segue. So, talking about being in bed. Being in bed is...
Okay.
I know.
Oh, God, where's this going?
I don't know. I'm not sure I
It's
want
good.
to.
So-
Is it coming and going?
Eh.
You're coming
Well,
and going.
no. There was someone...
now.
There was a showing up, but there was a never leaving type thing in this situation. So, today, I want to talk about one of, if not the most prolific serial kiss... Oh, my God.
Serial kissers.
Serial kissing Kate Bosworth.
Whoa.
God, sorry. I saw a picture of James Vanderbeek and I went, oh,
Fucking James Vanderbeek.
So the clip that you heard at the beginning of the show comes from the interrogation of one of, if not the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history.
O.J. Simpson?
He was a
That
wife
was
killer.
that was pretty fucked up.
There was two. That is, by definition, serial killer.
And his name was Israel Keys.
Like the country?
Yeah. Which this
Okay,
is going to get
So
weird.
quick recap.
Quick recap.
Army Hammer. So
Army Hammer and Israel Keys.
Coming
Mhm.
after you, Army.
With a K.
So
The Queen
Israel
kills people.
Keys is, I don't know how to describe him in a creative enough way, other than this guy is. Have you ever seen like a used Band-Aid on the sidewalk? That's how gross this guy is. This guy is just the pit of, like, he is the bag that holds all of our babies' diapers. He's just the worst. And so some people call him a criminal mastermind or a serial killer mastermind. And we'll get into it because he had no, method. He didn't have a type.
He didn't have an MO.
He didn't have a type or an MO.
Hmm.
I don't think that he's a mastermind. I think that this guy is a fucking weasel, and he just likes to think he's smarter than everybody else, and he's just a piece of shit.
Okay.
Okay, let's get into this because
Yeah.
I want to know.
So,
Yeah, I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, because like in my brain, you're saying all these things, and all I can think about is you describing Donald Trump Jr.
well,
Don Jr.
or this guy is the worst.
I think of Prince Andrew.
There we go.
Yeah.
So
if Don Jr. and Prince Andrew could reproduce, it would be this guy.
It would be Israel Keys.
Yeah.
It would be Israel Keys. So let's set the stage. We're going to rewind a little bit. We're going to go back into the annals of history.
The anal cavity
I
of
knew
history.
it. I knew it. I
hate
knew we
this.
were in kindergarten.
The annals of history.
Anal cavities.
And we're going back to a warm June night in 2011.
June 2011. I had just
Folk
turned 21.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I had just turned 21
I
and I had been drinking for a solid 5 years at
you
that
were,
point.
I had just finished my
Man.
freshman year of college.
I was going to say, were you just like graduating
2010
middle
was
school?
a great time.
Dude, yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
I
Let's go
agree.
back.
That's when I
Yeah.
graduated high school. So,
Oh.
Okay.
Yikes.
I know. All right, here we go. It's a warm June night in 2011. Bill and Lorraine Currier, 55 and 50 years old, were relaxing in their home in Essex, Vermont, which is something they often did. According to a state's attorney, actually, they were homebodies. They really preferred to stay with their
Oh.
pets.
Right, but what are you going to do in Vermont?
Go look at the foliage,
Oh, gonna
as
be a
one
peeper.
does. So,
I
Would
don't
have been
know.
in Jerry's.
yeah, they loved
chunky monkey.
their pets. They loved to stay in, just watch TV, read, hang out,
I
as
see
we
my
all
future.
do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Lily's moving to Vermont.
A little after midnight that night, the Curriers were asleep in their bedroom when they awoke to see a man dressed in all black and wearing a headlamp standing at the foot of the bed with a gun trained on both of them. And I do want to give our listeners a warning. I'm not going to pull any punches on the descriptions of these murders and these crimes. So be ready for some graphic detail.
Graphic content.
They were instructed to sit up and were zip tied, and then asked numerous questions about their home. Do you have a safe? Where is it? What's inside it? Do you have a gun? Where is it? Well, they did have both of these. The man emptied the safe, and then he also took the handgun that Lorraine had admitted to him that she had, which she had for protection. He took it. I believe it was a .38,
Okay.
and took their phones as well, and then forced them at gunpoint to go to their own vehicle and get in. When they got in the vehicle, the man drove them to a nearby abandoned home in the area, and
Maybe he was just looking for some property.
no, he'd already scoped this out. Very Dexter-like. He drove them to the nearby abandoned home, and he took Bill into the basement and tied him to a stool. He's zip tied and now is tied to a stool.
Like to a sitting stool, right?
Yeah.
Not like poop.
And gross.
Like, I love you, babe, but if that happened, I'd go and get help.
How would you go and get help?
I'd just run.
You're
Take the
zipping it.
car.
Well,
she thinks it's just that easy.
Right.
Oh, I'd run.
Meg,
the entire
when was
time.
the last time you went for a run?
A while ago.
Okay.
She'd get to the
Proceed.
end of the drive and be like, fuck it.
Lily, when was the last time you went on a run?
Well, I just completed a marathon.
I remember the last time because you called me.
Yeah. I almost shit myself.
Oh, I remember this. She called me when I was at work.
I swear to God, I sat down and I called Jay because I was like, you're going to need to leave work to come pick me
Well,
up.
she started with it. She started the conversation with, I'm okay. I'm in the woods at the intersection. I have to shit myself.
I just remember her calling me and going, so I have to tell you what's going on with me right now.
Can I ask
I
how
ever
far
tell
into
you
your
this
run were
story?
you? No.
Okay. So, all right.
This is important.
It's a good
Yeah,
story.
I was going through the Couch to 5K program, which means less than 5 miles.
Yeah. 5K is 3 miles.
All right, so 3
Fuck you.
miles. And I was very committed. I was doing a good job.
You were running like quite a bit.
I was running a lot. And I went out and I was on the, like, I was almost done. So maybe close to 3 miles. And before I left for my run that morning, I remember I was going through this weird phase where I was like, do I eat or do I not eat before the run? Do I drink or whatever? Because I don't want to, make myself sick on my run. So I was still trying to like figure it all out. And I think I had drank something and then I went for my run. And then right on the finishing section of my Couch to 5K, all of a sudden, I'm like on a main arterial road too.
Right.
On a sidewalk, and I just like had to sit down. I thought I was like, I'm gonna fucking pass out and I need to shit my pants right now. And it's not even a joke. I really did. I had to sit down.
I'm just picturing Lily doing the. I don't know if any of you are runners, but there's a trot where you squeeze your butt cheeks as hard as they go, which causes your knees to lock, and you just are waddling because you are trying to not prairie dog.
I think maybe there was a waddle there for a minute, but then it was like a full on. I needed to sit down because I'm like looking off to the right. There's like woods. I'm like planning where I need to go. In the event I can't make it. I call Jay. Jay doesn't answer. So I call my friend Nick and I'm like, Nick, I might need you to pick me up. Nick doesn't answer and I'm just sitting there on this sidewalk, main arterial, just like prepared to shit my pants and I can't move. Because if I move,
You're gonna shit
I'm
yourself.
gonna shit myself. And
This
so
is
I
why
sit
Lily
there.
has not run since this day.
I have severe PTSD now. So eventually,
Post-traumatic shitting disorder.
yes, maybe 15 minutes, it subsided, and I was able to walk home, to which I called Meg and was like, I have to tell someone what just fucking happened to me.
Oh God,
And then
I
it was
wish
fine.
we had a picture.
It was really bad.
Oh my God,
So
that's
anyway,
amazing.
Now everybody knows about the time I almost shit my pants.
It's a church bell.
It's okay, only our moms
It's fucking
listen.
creepy.
Hi, Mom. Now you know.
So the man takes Bill into the basement of the property.
Who's
Tied
the
him-
man?
We're getting to that.
Oh, quick recap. Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Get it? He gets. God, see, you throw me off. The man takes Bill into the basement of the property, ties him to a sitting stool,
Shitting stool?
ignoring the cries of, "Where's my wife? Where's my wife? What have you done to her?" He then returns to the car where he's left Lorraine and finds her attempting to pull a Meg. She's attempting to run down the road, having broken free of some of her restraints.
See? This girl was thinking,
He promptly tackled her.
that sucks.
Killed her.
No, not yet. And carried her to the upstairs bedroom where he tied her arms and her legs to the bedposts.
Oh, boy.
He then goes down to the basement again, leaving Lorraine upstairs, and finds Bill has partially gotten out of his restraints. So first off, I want to say
He definitely wasn't a Boy Scout then.
that's
Was
that's
no
step
Boy
one.
Scout.
Criminal mastermind, most prolific serial killer in all history.
Couldn't tie a knot.
A 55-year-old man and a 50-year-old woman have both gotten out of your restraints multiple times.
You know who
You
does
are a
know how to
scumbag.
tie knots? Army Hammer. I read about it last night.
Yikes.
He spent a lot of time learning how to tie knots. Continue. With mannequins? It's weird. Keep going.
Oh my God, we need to do that story.
I will. I dibs. Dibs. Stay tuned.
Right. So he goes down to the basement, and Bill is partially free. And in an interview later, he says, "That pissed me off because there's a very
Yeah.
specific way I want things done, and I have the whole thing planned out. I have everything I need to do it." This causes the man to lose control. He then strikes Bill multiple times in the face and the head with a nearby rusty shovel, and then shot him multiple times fatally. After this, after he's already slaughtered this guy, he goes back upstairs to where he has Lorraine. He takes out a knife and he cuts her clothes off the entire time, looking at her and whispering to her, and then rapes her twice. During both sexual assaults, he strangled her to the point where she lost consciousness multiple times and then would wait for her to wake back up to continue his assault.
This is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
After the final time she woke up, she's dazed, confused, very, very just, I mean, you can imagine you're very out of it at this point.
Mhm.
He unties all of the restraints and he stands her up, supports her, and slowly walks her down. And he says, "I'm going to take you to see your husband."
Oh my God.
He
Oh,
takes her
God.
downstairs to see where her husband's bloodied, lifeless corpse is, sits her on a bench looking at her husband, takes out a rope, and strangles her to death from behind. After the murder of these two, he pours Drano over their bodies to hasten decomposition, puts them in the corner basement of the home, and then covers them with debris. He then took their car to a nearby parking lot where he'd already parked his rental car. He left their car there, switched vehicles, and drove off. He was not caught for several more months, and this guy's name was Israel Keys.
It's a lot of DNA and fingerprinting to leave behind and not catch him for several months.
Well, you'd have to have a criminal record for that.
Do you want to know why they didn't catch him?
Why?
Why?
Because that house was very shortly after demolished. The construction company stated they smelled something, and I've read that it's either a house or like a more of a barn.
Mm-hmm.
They smelled something rotting and decomposing inside, but they didn't go check it out because they just expected it to be a dead animal.
Yeah.
Demolished and removed the entire building. No remains were ever found. That's just a taste. That's not even the event that got Israel Keys caught.
You know who likes tastes? Army Hammer.
Do you think he can taste the rainbow if he eats Skittles?
No.
Mostly
Skittles
red.
is a stripper.
I was going to say, he mostly likes eating human beings.
So yeah, that's not even the event that got him caught. That is the second to last that we know of murder that he committed.
Wow.
Yeah,
Second to last.
second to last. that
Wow.
we
You
know
mean to
of.
tell me he had murdered many times previous to this and he still fucked up that many times?
The FBI?
What an idiot.
The FBI says they can comfortably attribute a minimum of 11 murders to him. There are some reports from different sources that claim up to 36 to 40 people may have been murdered by this guy.
Is-
The murders began in roughly 1996 and went until 2012.
So 6 years.
Huh? 1996
Oh,
to 2012.
2012.
A
6
mathematician?
Oh my,
A
sorry.
mathematician? You are not.
Oh my
No.
god.
None
Yeah.
of us here are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Were they all, I mean, I'm sure you're going to say more,
Mhm.
but Were they all in the Vermont area?
Oh no, and that is the big thing about Israel Keys that made him so difficult to catch.
He was everywhere.
Yeah, and I will touch on this a little bit later.
Was he in California?
They so
Was he like
there are still
prestige worldwide?
I will tell you there are still investigations both in the US and internationally following up on his travel records, because Israel Key's method was to fly somewhere, rent a car, drive 300 to 500 miles, abduct, drive into another state, murder, drive into another state, dispose of the body.
Was he responsible for, was his last one a murder? California? Was he from Washington State?
He was.
Okay, so I have heard
We get all the
something
gross murderers.
about
Ted Bundy,
this guy, and I know how he got caught.
They
Yep.
should have called
He's a
Hodge in the
dumb
BAU.
bitch. I mean,
He is.
really fucking smart.
But
you know how-
but really fucking dumb.
Yeah,
He
he
went-
obviously didn't think of the Commerce Clause in the Constitution.
Oh yeah, that makes it a felony for sure. But
Well, I think there's a lot of
he
things
would,
that
he
make it a
would go
felony.
and
A lot
he
of
would like
things.
bury tools and stuff, right?
Yes.
Oh man. Okay, keep it up. I'm excited. To hear
I know.
more.
I
He would
see,
plot-
I told you.
I do remember parts. Is he would like plot it years in advance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he spent a
Oh.
lot of time on these.
This
Yeah.
guy.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I knew you guys. Oh,
all right.
I
man.
was so excited to
And
do
like,
this
he
episode.
wouldn't he
Okay.
like while he was murdering and doing
Pillaging.
all of this and going from state to state, like if he was like in a state, he'd be like, oh, like I'm gonna murder here, and like he'd like plant his tools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
Yeah.
Let's not give away
Okay.
too much.
Sorry,
Did you
I'm
do
just really
the,
excited.
And that's why we drink episode on him.
I don't know if they did. I know Morbid has done
That's
one.
how I heard about it. That's okay.
I heard about it on
They did
Morbid.
they did one, and I know that there've been several podcasts
I listened
on
to it
this guy.
passively, but I'm excited to hear more.
This is another good little clip. I told you I spent 6 hours and I watched this 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So just listen to this guy. Listen to what he says.
This is, tenacious. One of the best analogies I've heard for it is it's more like an archaeological dig. Than it is just going through and kind of tossing things until you find what you think you're looking for.
Yeah, that's a lot of trouble to go through. I almost feel guilty. Costing the taxpayers a lot of money to find those. But I just kept my mouth shut.
But that's how committed the FBI
No, I
is.
understand. They
Just
well, it sounds like they've got it. They've got the area. They just got to find
He's
it.
talking about the prosecution spending all their time and the FBI trying to find the remains of someone that he has murdered. He's like, I almost feel guilty costing the taxpayers a lot of money.
What an ass.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Is this guy still alive, or has he been
What? Yep.
executed yet?
We gotta wait to get to the end of the
Someone kill
story.
him?
We'll get there.
We'll see.
So
Okay, eligible for parole.
let's look back. I like to examine the history of a serial killer, their past, So Israel Keys was born on January 7th, 1978.
Thanks, Lil.
And I say it was to a Mormon family.
It's always the fucking Mormons. There's that murder show.
I want to watch that.
Oh, we
But-
started it. It's good.
But when I say it's a Mormon family, I mean it's a family that co-opted whatever religion suited them at the time.
Oh boy.
He was born in Richmond, Utah.
Rich what?
Richmond.
Rich what?
Richmond.
I'm missing this reference.
We're
Nobody's
lost.
ever seen Coach Carter, huh?
No.
Nope.
Well,
He was the second of 10 children to Heidi and Jeffrey Keys.
Definitely Mormons.
This is just a few of his siblings' names: Charity, Hosanna,
You're the highest.
Sunshine, Autumn Rose, one word.
Alexis Rose.
So these folks were something else.
did Charity grow up to become a stripper?
I hope so.
I don't know.
Yeah, her screen name was like Mercedes.
Oh boy.
All of the children were homeschooled, and they eventually moved out of Utah into Colville, Washington, where
Wait, what is it? Colville or Colville?
Colville. Like,
it's spelled C-O-L, but it's Colville. So they moved to Colville, Washington, where they initially lived in tents as their father built a one-room cabin for all 12 of them with no electricity or running water. And let me tell you, for a brief moment, I felt a connection to this guy. Brief, though.
That worries me.
Just, the off-the-grid type
brief.
living. But
Yeah, when you said
I know
you said the
someone-
town, I looked it up on my laptop here.
I know someone in Colville.
And
Who do
it's
I know?
northeast, bumfuck nowhere, Washington.
yes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it was in Colville that the family began to attend what is known as a Christian identity church.
Okay.
What is that?
Funny you should ask, Meg. Let's talk about the Christian identity movement. So this church is no longer
2016
session.
political scope in America.
No, this is bad.
Oh.
So
that
the
was bad,
Christian
too.
identity movement is a movement that states it began in Britain in 1805, I believe. And it is a movement that states that the Jews are not really the God's chosen people. They're not Israel.
Sure.
That Israel, God's chosen people, are the British, the Europeans, and the Americans. And
Okay.
oh wait, there's
Okay.
more, says Billy Mays.
No.
The Jewish people actually, according to this belief, came from, and this church actually says, like, while the Jewish people are a lovely people, they are not truly. And so, this church is no longer around. But
I
What?
can understand that.
they believe that the Jewish people, if you've heard the story of Adam and Eve, you know that they had two sons, Cain and Abel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, the Jewish, or not
One
the
was
Jewish,
a shitbag.
the Christian identity movement claims that Cain, who was the brother that murdered
Mhm.
Abel,
And what a
that Cain
jackass.
is the spawn of Eve and not Adam, but that she fucked the serpent.
Yep. Okay.
And
I know where this is
the
going.
devil was the father of Cain, who is the father of the Jewish race. And this is the claim of the Christian identity movement.
Did they have
When did this
did-
originate? The Christian identity movement?
Early 1800s.
You just said 1805.
Okay.
Did they organize into something? There's a word. I think it's called a Reich.
Actually,
Well, funny
no,
you should, yeah.
that's what I was actually just thinking of. I just took a midterm in my Jewish studies class, and
Mm.
this is all kind of coming together for me.
Funny how all the
Funny.
pieces interact.
Yeah. Okay. I clearly did not do very well.
So that's the Christian identity movement.
You just pointed to your wife and said that's the Christian
Sorry,
identity.
I was pointing to the
I
dog
am not,
in
I
her lap.
promise.
So anyway, that is the church that he attended. Now the church changed their name and continued to
Mormon
operate
church?
for a while. Oh no, they're not Mormons. So this is actually, it is at this church that the Keys family met the Kehoe family.
The Kehoe family?
The Kehoe family. Or the
Okay.
Kehoe. It's spelled Kehoe.
Oh, there's a town in Hawaii.
Kehoe.
Kehoe.
Yeah, they
Interesting, because
sounds
the
Hawaiian.
Kehoe family were racists, and also the brothers are in prison for life for a triple homicide.
Mm.
So, funny enough that all of these violent things, not saying that they have anything to do with the Christian identity movement or any of these cult-like
But, like,
religions,
Also,
but funny enough that the cult-like
yeah,
religions,
They sure
correlation
come
is not
together a
always-
lot.
Yeah,
They do.
correlation is not always causation, but also like, yeah, this is what's this is where it came from.
yeah. Anyway, so that's a little bit of where he grew up. When he was young, Keys was known to run with several other kids his age, and they did the regular hood rat shit that all of us do, save a few minor details. So they were known to break in and, burglarize the community, which, in my mind, how many swastika plates can you steal out of this white supremacist community before you're like, I don't need any more of these? But, I don't know, white supremacist neighborhoods, they're known for being what? Rich? Yeah, well, let's go with that. Sure. So then they would do these burglaries. They did a lot of hunting because that's big in the area, and eventually torturing and killing animals. So, you know, a
Always leads
little
to
column
that.
A, little column B. And Israel, what he mentions in his interviews is he doesn't remember if it was a dog or a cat, but he thinks it was a cat that was always getting into the family's trash. This was his sister's cat, and he told her that if it got into the trash one more time, he was going to kill it. Well, of course, the cat got into the trash one more
He
time.
made good on his promise. Is what
He
you're saying.
did, and
He was
Kitty cat
reliable.
chili.
yeah, little. Again, I've already mentioned this, but just as another slight warning, violence to animals upcoming.
I think we should skip over the violence to animals part because I don't like that at all.
He took the cat into the woods with a friend and shot it in the stomach,
Oh.
and then stood there watching it while it was in pain. Obviously, not a fatal shot until it finally died. This friend
Horrible.
So it was a
human.
fatal shot.
eventually, but not in an immediately fatal.
I'm going to request that we don't tell these stories again.
You okay over there?
No, they killed a kitty.
We talked about the serial murders of up to 36 people, but
It
God
would be
forbid
so
the
much
cat.
better. Like if
But
I
it was a
watch a
kitty.
movie and they kill a human, I'm like, oh, that sucks. But if they kill a dog and
That's
like
true.
turn it off, I'm
She
not
was
watching
right
it
She
anymore.
refuses to watch I Am Legend.
She
Yeah.
cried over John Wick for 3 days.
I did.
I won't watch it because of that.
It was just a poor puppy. It didn't do anything wrong. People are trash bags.
I will not watch it. Nope.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So
You also won't watch Homeward Bound.
Yeah. they
Okay,
get
that is
lost.
a
It's
very
really
upsetting
sad.
Okay,
movie.
I'll go fuck
is that
myself.
the one where the animals like talk and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
lost.
they get lost.
But
Loved
they
it when I was a
find their
kid.
way home
Didn't
I
one
know,
of them
it's
die?
precious.
in the second. Or
Oh.
the third.
Oh, I
The
never saw
second,
that.
they only made 2.
So yeah, one of them dies in the second.
Spoiler alert! God.
There was some song that Jay,
Spoilers.
who is it? Chris Stapleton released a new album.
Oh,
and
Maggie.
Jay was listening to one of the songs called Maggie, and he's like, Lil, we need to listen to this. It's about his dog. And I'm listening to it, and it's really
third
good.
chorus wasn't.
Yeah.
The third verse
and
wasn't
and
so
I
good.
go, Jay, the end of this song, does the dog die? And he goes, you know what? I should just turn this off.
Great song until the last verse.
Right.
So we
Yeah,
only
so
like the
anyway.
first minute and a half of that song.
So anyway, I
Yeah.
haven't heard it all the way through.
Chris Stapleton and the Kitty Cat Killer.
Oh boy.
Actually,
So the friend cut ties with Keys after this. Good for him, I guess. But speaking of cutting ties, Keys eventually cut ties with the quote unquote religion
Mhm.
of his family. He told them that
Okay.
he no longer believed in God or that he never had. I'm leaning more with the latter.
Mhm.
And his father immediately closed off contact. And
bet they're
and
glad they did that.
Never talked to him again. His
Right.
mother maintained contact.
Ah, well.
And his family eventually moved from Washington to Pennsylvania, where they joined an Amish farm for a while.
Get out of here.
I'm not kidding you. They hop from cult to weird thing. And then,
let me get this straight.
The Amish are not a cult.
I was just saying, are you equating
you-
the Amish to a cult?
Have you
No,
been
I'm-
to the Amish
Not like
market?
they
I
can
love
listen
Boy,
it.
they're
to
going to be
defend
so
themselves.
mad when they hear this.
right? No, I'm
So
not. I'm not equating them to a cult per se. It's that cult-like
You're
mentality.
saying per se. Like,
I am.
they are not a cult at
No,
all.
they're-
Excuse me, I just want to interject. I love the Amish.
Me too.
I
They
love their products.
Great chicken salad.
I love their products.
All their food is delicious.
And their
Yeah.
dogs.
And their puppy.
Although I will say that
They're all
we
very
were watching
lovely.
Schitt's Creek again today, and I absolutely believe Meg would pull a David and she'd be on the Amish farm. And just the second they're like, oh, you have a bug on your jacket, she'd be like, ew.
This is true.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, "Oh, I guess we'll stay for dinner," and they're like, "No."
You've taught us many lessons.
You must go now.
Perseverance. You must go now.
It tastes like that unsalted butter that we had at the Ritz in Paris.
So
That's a great episode.
Yeah, it is. I love it.
it is such a good one.
Anyway, back to the non-cult Amish.
So Israel preferred to take the atheist route in life, he says, though as a typical angsty teen, he also claimed to be a Satanist, which in my mind, it's kind of hard to be a Satanist if you don't believe in God.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
If you believe in
agree.
one, you got to believe in the other, but
I agree.
c'est la vie. He got several tattoos and a brand on his chest of an upside down cross.
I thought you were
He
going to say
got
a pentagram.
he did get a pentagram tattoo.
On his hand.
I think it was on his arm.
Fine.
He's no Richard Ramirez.
It was either there or his gooch, but I don't know. I didn't.
I hope it's the gooch.
Can you imagine the tattoo artist? How would you position someone to tattoo the gooch? Do you want them laying down? Do you want them standing up?
Gynecology table.
With a foot up or something.
Yeah,
I
like
once
they're
saw
straddling
a
a medicine
picture
ball.
of a
I'd like to
vagina
imagine that's
tattoo
how
in a
it was done.
lookbook, and I was not prepared for that.
What?
A puss tattoo and a lookbook.
Yeah, I was looking through the
Although I think
lookbook
we got our
at
title.
the tattoo shop, and it was like
Teen
a
Pussy gets
vagina
tattoos.
tattoo, and I was like, okay,
Oh.
I was not prepared
Yeah.
to come
They
across
need a content
this
warning.
butterfly on a hoo-ha.
Yikes.
Oh, I thought you were calling the hoo-ha the butterfly.
It was a butterfly
I
on
think
the
that's what she
hoo-ha.
was going for.
Nope.
It's a butterfly on the butterfly.
It eventually transforms.
Ugh.
It's initially called the caterpillar.
So I don't want that.
Okay. Well, now I know.
But to answer your question in a very real sense, gynecology table.
Okay. So no straddling a medicine ball or Captain Morganing it.
Nah.
Less fun.
Agreed. So when Keys turned 20, so this is in 1978, 88, 98,
Right.
he enlisted in the U.S.
boy.
Army and served in Fort Lewis, Fort Hood, and Egypt.
Not for nothing. Fort Hood has a lot of people who are fucked up tied to it. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if we'll ever talk about it. This does fall under the conspiracy mystery type thing. I think that that area, I believe that some of the higher ups in the military are running drugs, and that people on bases are getting mixed up in it and are getting murdered because of it, and it's trying to get
because
covered
they're
up.
like
I
they
can
have
1000% see that.
they have recent problems with murders right now in 2020 and 21. at
Yeah,
Fort
they
Hood.
do.
But they
Shooting
also had that
sprees?
major that went on a shooting spree in Fort Hood.
There are close to 75 murders in like a couple of military bases that are never talked about that I absolutely believe are tied to something like this.
Interesting.
Mhm.
He served in Fort Lewis, Fort Hood, and in Egypt before he was honorably discharged in 2000 after only 2 years. During his time in Fort Lewis, he had been dating a woman,
Oh.
but he met someone else. Now, let me tell you how he met this woman. There was a website at the time that
Tinder.
it was
In
Tinder,
98.
but better.
Tinder box.
So you create a profile and you leave a short voice memo talking about yourself.
Plenty of fish.
It's called V Harmony.
J-date.
If someone likes it,
Farmers only.
are we just naming off all of the
Yeah.
Our time.
eHarmony.
Our time is way better.
So
Yeah.
All old people.
I know.
so
My grandma was on it.
The grilled
Aw.
cheese of dating sites.
Didn't
My
she
mom
meet-
wants to.
Oh,
My mom wants to
no.
put my Mimi on it.
Dude, did you hear him?
I don't
For
think I
our
want
time,
to.
He
The
said
grilled
it's
cheese
the
what?
grilled cheese of dating sites.
Dude, I love grilled cheese.
So this website, like I said, is you leave a voice memo about yourself, and if someone's interested, they send you a voice memo. Well, Israel messed up his response. So he messed up the recording, and he had someone interested in him, and instead of responding, he accidentally recorded over his profile voice memo. So I'm just imagining like someone trying to record on an answering machine and be like, beep, fuck, was that how I was supposed to start? Like, fuck, I want to touch your body. Fuck, beep, goddamn it.
Is that what he said?
No. I'm just
Oh.
imagining that someone's struggling so hard.
I
with
imagine this is the 1998 version of sending a dick pic to the wrong person.
Well, can you imagine at that time you start to send your recording and you mess it up, but it's like beep, the router you spend 45 minutes to
Someone
send a
picks up the
13-second
phone.
clip and you accidentally say fuck in your
Yeah,
profile
the 90s
picture.
were quite the time, weren't they?
God,
They were great.
you know what I want is some of those swishy multicolored parachute pants. I could kill for some of them. Jay.
MC Hammer Pants?
Jay could probably tell you where to get some.
Yeah, that's what I'm
What?
referencing.
MC Hammer Pants.
So
I've never had a pair. Why are you guys all
He
looking
said
at me?
swishy, multicolored.
parachute
pants.
pants.
They'd go
because
great with
I'm
your
wearing
jacket.
a swishy,
Multicolored
multicolored jacket.
Yeah.
Just because I have the one doesn't mean I have
If you're
the other.
wondering about Jay's swishy, multicolored jacket, please
Don't worry, we'll
go-
take a picture because he was wearing some star-studded sunglasses a few minutes ago.
Oh, I already posted it.
Hell
Nice.
Check out our Instagram.
Did you
yeah.
did you say that he stole them from the baby?
No, I said nothing to see here.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
I'm gonna go post on there. Bristol wants her glasses.
So
back.
some woman decided that this was a, I don't know, endearing quality that he messed up the recording, and she liked it and reached out to him. So he starts dating a second woman at the same time. Well,
I bet these ladies
Where?
feel like shit now.
Well,
Yeah, oh
of
my
course,
God.
she gets pregnant. And
Oh.
he has a daughter.
Oh.
He breaks it off with the girl that wasn't pregnant. And he moves in.
He does the right thing. Weird.
He moves into the Native American reservation where his girlfriend works.
Mm-hmm.
For 6 years, lives with her and his daughter.
Is this in Colville still?
No, this is in Texas.
Texas. Okay.
And then, yeah, so she develops an opium addiction and he breaks it off with her.
Okay.
And then eventually meets a new woman that he becomes very serious with, which, you know, obviously he had a daughter with this last one, but it could have
So
easily been
6
a
years,
daughter
this has
post
been-
Applebee's date, you know?
2004.
2004. Okay.
Hmm. So he became so serious that he moved to Anchorage, Alaska with his daughter and his girlfriend to start a new life in 2007.
Okay.
And by all accounts, he led a very normal life.
Except for all the murders.
He was a loving father. And this comes out in the interviews multiple times. He loved his daughter. Some of his coworkers even claimed he was a responsible father to his daughter. He would come into work and brag about her. He was a loving dad, a doting father, like just loved his family. Was a great family.
So he
man.
had like one good quality.
Was his
He was-
daughter's name Lucy?
I'm not sure. It was hard to find, I think, because of some protective acts.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He provided for his family and continued his loving arrangement in Alaska by starting his own contracting company called Keys Construction. This provided ample cash flow for supporting his family.
Especially in Alaska.
Yeah, and he would likely still be a major factor in this family's life if it wasn't for a few
Murders.
mistakes that he made.
You know, a little
It's about
blemish.
30 of them.
Just a little
So I
blemish
wanna-
in his personality.
So we're going to take a break here, but I want to play one quick clip. And this goes along with his love for his daughter. And it's really odd that it's just a very odd quality. And this actually impacted him. Before he had his daughter, he had no issues harming children. And it's actually, there are thoughts that his first murder may have happened in 1996. Which would be when he was 18 years old, I believe.
97 in
18
Boulder,
years old.
Colorado.
In Boulder. Oh, yeah, maybe. Who knows? So there are actually a lot of unsolved cases that online sleuths are trying to track down based on his travel records as being him. And he claims that many of them will never be solved. And he says there are numerous ones that are just missing persons cases that will always be missing persons cases and will never be solved. And unfortunately, that's true.
Yeah.
So let me play this clip real
That's
quick.
so fucked.
Let me play this clip real quick, and you'll see how much of a loving, quote unquote, dad this guy was. But anyway, what I was saying real quick, after he had his daughter, he would never harm children again. And and he said that if he made the decision that someone was going to die, they weren't able to humanize themselves. He actually, in the case that we talked about earlier, with the couriers, he was actually Bill Courier was in the car trying to humanize himself because Bill Courier was also in the military, and he was trying to humanize himself with Israel and talking about their time in the military and just discussing all of that. But Israel made the claim. He's like, I knew these people were trying to humanize themselves. He's like, but if I made a decision I was going to kill somebody, they weren't getting out of it. And unfortunately, that was the case. So here's the clip of him talking about his daughter to investigators.
And in return for that, I don't plan on being around a whole lot longer, but a really big concern to me is, my kid's going to be around. I don't want her to, type my name in the computer and have it pop up, I already know stuff's going to come up. I know that, but I just trying to minimize that at this point, I guess, is what I was hoping to do, and apparently it's going to be really difficult.
So,
Wait until 2021, bucko.
well, he is referencing not only the murders, Israel Keys was also a necrophile. Thanks for tuning in this week, everybody, to the Israel Keys Case Part 1. We'll see you all in 2 weeks for the Part 2 and conclusion of Israel Keys, the most prolific serial killer in America.
Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And Now We're Haunted, or on Twitter it's at ANWH Podcast.
Looked into the void,
And now we're haunted.